not understanding critical lenses. So I am recording this so that everyone can have a chance to see and have the opportunity to see this later on. However, again, as I said, this class was mandatory because we are not getting assignments turned in like you're supposed to for a virtual class, and that's not acceptable for juniors, and you guys should know better. So it's kind of like this is like an RTI session for you all, which is mandatory, a mandatory session that you have to attend. So I'm just having it on a different day. All right, so those of you who are here, and I see that Myrna has joined us, so I'm glad you're here. Hi, how are you today?
Hi, good morning. Good, and you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna start off, and I'm gonna show you some of our. I'm gonna start off with a PowerPoint presentation for you all to kind of go from there. We'll start with that. So I think, if I am understanding if I'm guessing, you all are you guys are not understanding critical lenses. Am I guessing that correctly? No one's asking me questions about it through email, so I'm guessing that critical lenses is a struggle for you. Is that correct? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, all right, good deal, good deal. So I'm guessing correctly. All right, so here we go. I'm going to share my screen with you so that you all can see what I have going on here, my little PowerPoint presentation. All right, can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Good deal. Bree's always giving me a thumbs up over there. I always count on her to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. She's got me covered. Good deal. All right, so what is a critical lens? Okay, it's literary criticism. All right, so part of your goal in 11th grade is to learn how to critically think about literacy, okay? And learn how to think about the things that you read, okay? You are developing your critical thinking skills. So your first 2 years of English was to develop your skills as to learn how to read the English literature in looking for symbolism and looking for things that told the story in different ways. Now you're looking at things and you're thinking about them critically and like how to look through them in different ways to look at things, okay? Like I said, again, you're developing your critical thinking skills, and that is part of learning, that is part of your English skills in the 11th and 12th grade. My job is to teach you how to think, because after you graduate high school, the one thing that people are going to want you to do is to be able to think, okay? So, and these 4 things that we're going to be talking about today are different ways that you can look at things and different ways that you can think about things as you read, okay? So literary criticism is an attempt to evaluate and understand the creative writing and literature of an author. Literary criticism is a description, analysis, evaluation, or interpretation of a particular literary work or an author's writing as a whole in an attempt to expose the hidden ideologies embedded in those texts, okay? So again, you are analyzing the information, you are looking at it from different points of view, okay? You are trying to figure out what people are trying to say, looking at it through different perspectives, okay? Does everyone know what a perspective is? You know what I mean by a perspective? I got one person shaking their head, thumbs up, perspective, okay. All right. If you are not sure what a perspective is, what that means is that, you remember when, you know how some people say there's 2 sides to every story? Okay, so like if you got into a fight with one of your friends and your friend goes and tells somebody and then you go and tell somebody and your side is different than their side, okay? They're telling it from their perspective and you're telling it from your perspective. So you saw it one way and they saw it one way. It's the same thing with literature. Okay, so as you read it, you're going to see it one way and someone else, you're going to see it a different way. So you're looking at it from 2 different ways. Okay, so kind of think of it that way. All right. So, and again, like I said, critical lenses are a different perspective through which a reader can view a text. All right. A necessary first step in understanding literacy criticism is the acceptance of multiple perspectives in literature as a valid interpretation of text. This means there is no single theory, perspective, or truth about literature as we read together and how we teach it. In other words, there are multiple correct answers, so what matters in determining the validity of an interpretation is how you support your answers. Something I will always tell you, and anyone that I've ever had in class beforehand will tell you, I don't care what your answer is, and you can give me any answer you want as long as you can back it up. If you can back up your ideas and your theory with proof and evidence, your answer is not going to be wrong when it comes to literature, okay? But you have to be able to back it up, and that's what this is saying here, okay? You have to, so there are multiple correct answers. You have to be able to back it up with solid proof and ideas, and that's where these critical lenses can come into play. All right. So, if you all will unmute yourselves for a second, I want you guys to tell me what you guys can see. Can you guys see the different perspectives here? Like, so look at this. Look at these pictures. Who can see the rabbit or the duck? Anyone see the rabbit or the duck?
I do.
You do? Do you see both of them, Myrna?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Raj, Nicole?
I see a duck.
You see a duck? Can you see the rabbit at all?
No.
No? Nicole?
I see the duck as well.
Okay. You can't see the rabbit? Okay. What about you, Bree?
I only see the duck.
You only see the duck?
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay. So if you will, like if you kind of set yourself back a bit and you shift yourself where the eye, so the beak of the duck is the ears of the rabbit. So this is the ears of the rabbit. And this is the eye of the rabbit, and this is the little mouth. Can you guys see it now?
Yeah.
I think Christian joined us too. Christian, are you there?
Yeah, I see both.
You see both?
Yeah.
Okay, so now can you guys see how that perspective changes depending on how you look at it, depending on how you shift your eyes and things like that? All right, what about this one? Do you see an old woman or a young woman? What do you see in this one?
A young woman.
Young woman.
Woman?
Young woman.
Young woman.
Anyone find the old woman?
No.
No.
I'll be honest with you, I have never been able to find the old woman either, but I've been told that if you tilt your head kind of upside down, she's over here on this side. I've never been able to really find her.
Oh my God, there's no way.
But she's there because I've had people that have found her before. So, but it just depends on the perspective that you look at, okay? So again, multiple perspectives. You can see different things depending on the way you look at them. All right, so let's talk about the critical lenses that we have in our unit right now, okay? So the things that we're talking about. All right, so in the feminist gender criticism, okay, this explains and examines the way in which men and women interact with each other within their own gender. It also examines what is expected of each gender, okay? So we know as a society what kind of things that we are expected to do, right? We kind of have our gender roles, do we not? Do we have things that we already know, like what men and women are expected to do, right? Sort of.
Yeah.
The typical roles. I'm not talking about like, you know, I'm not talking about like things that we women can still do whatever men can do and things like that. I'm talking about like the typical roles, gender roles that men and women play in our society. Yes, we have those. We know what those are and things like that. So, and so the things that we have to focus on, and we have to ask ourselves questions when we read, and if we are asked to look at something through a feminist gender lens, okay, then we have to make sure that we are asking ourselves and thinking about things through these ideals, okay, these beliefs, okay? And it's important that you're able to look at things through different types of lenses. All right, so when you are being asked on Summit, when you're being asked on the Crucible to look at certain pieces through the feminist gender lens, this is what you're doing. You're asking yourself these kind of things. You're looking at it, you're saying, okay, the women are being oppressed. How are they being oppressed? The men are being marginalized. What are the societal expectations of them at this time? Okay, so how are they being successful? How are the women being successful? What are the men? What's wrong with the men because they're not being successful right now? And you need to, that's how you're kind of looking at things and you're questioning things as you're going through, looking at things through a feminist gender lens, okay? When you are, and these are kind of questions that you can also ask as well. And all of this stuff is on your worksheets, okay? I have them like these worksheets right here that are on your, which I'm sure you can, I think you can see me on the side of your screen too. But the worksheets that are on, they're also on your Summit. They're attached to your Summit checkpoint number 1, okay? You have all this information on that Summit page, okay? This is all there. So, but your idea is when you are reading and you are asked to look at these through these particular lenses, you need to make sure that you are asking yourself these types of questions. You are saying like, how is the text influenced by the gender of the writer? So the writer of the Crucible is what? The writer of the Crucible is what? What gender is the writer of the Crucible? Oh, has nobody, I know Raj has at least looked at it.
Female.
Really?
I'll assume.
It's a male. Yes. The writer of the Crucible is a male. Arthur Miller. Yes. The writer of the Crucible is a male. Okay. So you have to think about those things. And then you also have to think about things like if the female characters were male, how would the story be different? Okay. And things like you have to go and look at these ideals when you're thinking about things from that perspective. Okay. And if it's hard to think of it through a lens, okay, think of it as a perspective. Remember when I said your friend has, you and your friend got into a fight, her perspective, your perspective, his perspective, your perspective, whoever, whatever, you got into a fight. Okay. If that's how you have to look at it, then this is that instead of looking at it through a lens, you look at it from a perspective. Okay. So the feminist gender perspective. But you have to be able to ask these kind of questions when you're looking at it through those perspectives. All right. Any questions on feminist gender criticism or the feminist gender perspective? This is your time, everybody. I want you to ask questions. I want you to be able to get clarification on anything that you need. I am here to help you, and that's what we're doing this for. Any questions? This is your time. Everybody's golden. I lost my picture of Bree. She went away. There she is. Oh, she's got thumbs up. Okay. All right. Okay. Existentialism theory. Okay, this one's a little bit trickier. Okay, because it's probably a word that no one's heard of before, right? Anyone ever heard of this word before?
No.
I got 2 people shaking their head. I got 1 person that says no. Okay. All right. So this theory tends to focus on individuals who are alienated and thus questioning the amount of freedom and control they have in their lives. This theory believes that the world is chaotic and illogical and man is born without a purpose. However, he has the ability and freedom to create an existence that is meaningful and purposeful. This theory is often perceived as negative because of the fear and alienation, confusion, doubt, and questioning associated with characters exploring their existential existence. Okay, so A couple of things to think about. This is self-actualization. It's the ability to fully understand and fulfill one's potential and ability. Okay, so if you're coming into a world and where you feel like you have no purpose, okay, this is where you can fully understand your potential. You can come to your own and believe that you have, the world is your oyster. Okay, so you've got that, all right? Or there's nihilism, okay? And nihilism is kind of the rejection of life, okay? That's when you do something wrong and you don't think anything either bad or good from it, okay? That's, you could do something terrible to somebody and you don't, you're just like, meh, whatever, okay? You neither think it's wrong nor it's, you know, it's either good nor bad, okay? So those are kind of the things that you need to look at. That's what those two things are kind of about. So, and so let's go into a little bit more depth on that. What this believes is that man wants order and structure and becomes frustrated and doubts his purpose, and when placed in situations he cannot control. Okay, man is responsible for his own existence. Man doesn't always understand himself or his purpose in life, and doesn't believe in a higher power. So man must take higher responsibility for himself, and man must reject authority. Okay, so when you're looking at this point, when you're looking at an existentialism theory, you are looking at it through this perspective and these beliefs. So when it says you're going to read the Crucible through an existentialism lens, you're going to say, okay, I need to look at it through, how does it look through someone who believes that that I want order and structure, but I don't know what's going on in my life. I can't control anything. I know that I feel like I'm responsible for my own existence, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't feel like there's a God. I know there should be, but I don't think that there is one, you know, that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's the way you need to look at things whenever you're looking at things through an existential lens. Like if you were to believe this stuff, if you were to believe this way, then how would you feel about what you were reading? Okay, so you don't have to believe this way. Okay, this is the great thing about perspectives. You don't have to believe this way. Okay, but it's important that you do understand the different ways to look at things, because that way it makes you smarter. It makes you think more. It makes you understand people better. It makes you understand the world better. If you are able to really understand how people think and what goes on in the world and how people view different things, okay? So you don't have to necessarily believe what these theories believe, but if you are able to look at things from other perspectives, you are able to think differently and think about how other people might see things. Does that make sense? So I'm not asking you to think differently. I'm asking you to believe in something that you don't believe in. That's not what I'm doing. I'm asking you just to think about different ways about how other people might look at something. Okay, does that make sense to you all? Everybody understand that? Okay. I got a thumbs up. Lost my picture from some people, but yeah, I got a thumbs up from Bree. I always get my thumbs up from Bree down there. I got you. She's always got me covered. Okay. All right. So you're going to answer questions. You're going to think about questions like, in this text, how do the characters view and understand death? Okay. What does that reveal about them? All right. How do the characters question life? All right. You know, they're going to ask themselves, why do they exist? What is their purpose? How do the characters act when they're placed in situations they can't control? The characters reject authority and commonly held beliefs. You know, how do they act in those situations and things like that? So those are the things you're looking for, and that happens a lot in the Crucible. So those are things that you can look at when you're looking at those situations. Okay, so ask yourself these questions. That's why these questions are here, to guide you as you're reading, so that you have these available to you while you're reading and to help you. Oops, my lights went on. to help you as you're answering and doing your analysis on your a checkpoint. Okay, getting my lights back on. Let's see. Oh, I go off again because I keep sitting. Okay. Historical theory. So historical theory is a little bit easier because basically it's a theory of examining historical context in the background of an author. The primary belief of this theory is that the text is understood through the eyes of the author and the events that shaped the author. Okay, so that doesn't mean the author is writing the story about themselves, okay? What that means is that the author might be writing about what's happening in his world, but his or her world, but it's not necessarily a biography about the author, okay? So, so the text meaning is determined based on the time it was written. So I gave you guys some information about the Crucible. The Crucible, even though the setting takes place back in the time of the Puritans, it was written during a time in history in which we were going through the Cold War, and the United States was very, very afraid of communism, and we had Red Scare and everything like that. And so they had a lot of people that were United States that were had their own witch hunt going on. And so I gave you some information about that with McCarthyism. And I want you all to make sure that you get familiar with that. And so that you do have that historical background on McCarthyism so that you do understand what was going on in our society during that time. If you do not do that research on McCarthyism, you will not be able to understand how to write this particular historical background piece, okay? Or be able to look at the Crucible through a historical lens, okay? Because I think that you'll just focus on the fact that the Crucible was written about the witch trials, Salem witch trials, and won't focus on the fact that it was also written at a time period in which McCarthyism was happening as well. And those are the two, you have to focus on two eras, okay? So you have to focus on both of those, okay? So, so the reader must reproduce the author's logic, attitudes, cultural circumstances, perspectives, and to determine the meaning. Use the life of the author to explain the work, not the work to explain the life. You don't force your own meaning into the novel. So you must consider the author's perspective. And you must consider the author before you understand the literature. So you have to do the research. So, which is why I gave you the information to look at, okay? So ask yourself some of these questions. What major events happened during the time in which the text was written to influence the text? How accurately does the story depict the time in which it was set? My lights just went off again. To what extent do the attitudes and beliefs of the characters reflect the time in which it was written or set? So again, you are talking about two different time periods here. You're talking about the time in which it was written and the time in which it was set, okay? They both coincide with each other about what's happening in the world in which it was written and the world in which it was set. So whenever you are reading this, you need to make sure that you are looking at it from both perspectives, okay? Sorry, Bill. All right, so does everybody understand? I forgot to ask if anyone had any questions about existentialism. Did anyone have any questions about that? We good? Okay, what about historical? Are we good on historical? Historical theory? Yeah, good. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, good deal. Is this all making better sense to everybody as I'm going through this? Yes. Yes, good deal, good deal. Okay, all right. I just want to make sure we're making some progress here because everybody's so quiet and I can't see anybody's faces. You have no idea how hard this is to teach to black screens. I got Bree's face. I got Bree's face. But you know, that's it. I do. Yes, I have her thumbs up every time. Every time. I love it. I got thumbs up every time. So anyway. All right, here we go. Next one. Moral and ethical theory. All right. Moral and intellectual critical approach is considered with content and values. The approach is as old as literature itself. For I can't speak anymore. For literature is as traditional mode of imparting morality, philosophy, and religion. The concern in moral intellectual criticism is not only to discover meaning, but also to determine whether works of literature are both true and significant. Okay, so the beliefs of this art and the purpose of literature is to teach lessons to readers. Man should always act morally and do his best to improve humankind. And readers should always be left with their own decision about whether to assimilate the ideas of a work, about whether the ideas and values are personally or morally acceptable. Okay, so basically everyone knows what morals are, yes? Everyone knows what a moral is, right? You guys, your parents raised you to be a certain way. Whoever you live with raises you to be a certain way. Society raises you to be a certain way. We all know right from wrong, things like that. Those are our morals and ethics and all that stuff, okay? So that's what that means. Okay, so questions you're gonna think about as you read through a moral and ethical lens, all right? How do the characters know what is right and wrong? What is the significant battle of good and evil? Does the work convey a lesson or a message? Can the message help readers lead better lives and improve their understanding of the world? What ideas does the work contain, and how strongly does the work bring forth its ideas? What application do the ideas of the work's characters and situations? How may the ideas be evaluated intellectually, and how may the ideas be evaluated morally? So again, these are questions to ask yourself as you're reading. I'm not saying you have to answer these questions on paper every single time, but these are the things that you think about as you read, okay? Like I said, the idea throughout this entire year, and I want you to keep this in your mind as we go through every single unit as we go forward. My job this year is to help you become better thinkers, okay? Help you think about things in a different way. Think about things from a different perspective, okay? And that's what this does. That's what these are designed to do. The bell's gonna ring again. All right, so I think that's, yeah. So, that's my little spiel about critical lens theory. So this is your time. What else do you feel that you need more clarification on? What are you still struggling with in regards to this particular section of our unit? What questions have I not answered for you? Do you feel that you still feel like you need clarification on? No question is a bad one, I promise. So do you all feel more comfortable with this explanation versus how you felt before you got here?
Yes.
Okay. So do you think I'll see more assignments that come through now? Maybe you guys start catching up with some of the work. I'm kind of getting worried, to be honest with you. I'm getting a little scared. My junior's grades are not looking very good. Not pretty. Yeah, I'll see some more assignments come through. Okay, so, but again, if you are having trouble, if you still have trouble with this, like if I send something back to you and I give you feedback or something like that, and you don't understand my feedback, or you're still struggling with it or you're still needing help with it, please ask questions, guys. Please come to my office hours. Please, if you're not comfortable coming to my office hours where you might run into somebody else asking questions or whatever it is, you can always email me. I'll set up a private session with you to where we'll talk about it. I'm here. There are some mornings that I come here early in the morning for tutoring. And I can even do that with you guys if you want me to. Like, I'm here early, it's early, but it's before school starts. So it's like 7:45 in the morning. But if you want to do that, I am willing to do that with you. So, but whatever it takes, I'm willing to do to make sure that you pass this class and learn what you need to learn. Okay, that's what I'm here for. What is it, Christian? Did you have a question?
No, ma'am.
Is this class having finals by the end of the semester?
Say that again.
Is this class is gonna have finals?
Yep, we're gonna have a final.
Okay.
So, but yep, we're gonna have finals just like if you were in school here, it's all finals. Yep. So, but yeah, we got, but everything's still the same. But if you, like I said, guys, any questions, and if you guys assessments, get those assessments taken. Those assessments help your grade if you can get them passed. If you're struggling with an assessment, try a different one. That's my suggestion. Okay, if you're struggling with one and you can't seem to get past it, try a different one. Take a break. Try a different one, and study for the and see what you can see if you can do the next one. No, they're going to be a little bit different, Bree. So I'm not sure how that's going to work with virtual school, but they are going to be a little bit different. So I think they are going to be based on grades a lot, but the grades have to be higher. I think the grades have to be like, it has to be like B's this year, and it's not based on attendance. So it's based on grades only. So I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that because I don't know all the details with finals yet. So I'm not, even though I'm saying this on video right now, do not quote me on this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying that, yes, if you have a B in my class, you're exempt from finals. That is not what I'm saying. So I don't know for sure. That's just kind of the rumor that I heard, but the grades have to be higher this year because they're not counting attendance this year because of COVID. So, and virtual school. So, but I do know that they are expecting the grades to be higher to be exempt from finals, if that makes any sense. So, which is fair. I mean, if they're not counting attendance, then they're going to expect your grades to be higher. So, you know what I mean? So, but right now I only have like maybe 2 people who would be exempt. So, but I'm just being honest. So, but guys, please don't wait till the last minute to try to get in touch with me about your grades and stuff, about your work, because grades are suffering, and I don't want you to, we really don't have that much longer in the semester. We have another week of October and then November. That's it. And then like we have like 2 weeks of November. Let's see, let me look at it actually. We have 1 more week of October. We have 3 weeks of November, and then we have Thanksgiving. Then we have 2 full weeks of December, and then we have finals week. That's it. The semester's over. We are running out of time. I know it doesn't seem like we've been in school that long, but we have. So we've got to get caught up. And I mean, I hate to keep nagging on you guys, but my juniors are so far behind. You are my class that I'm worried about the most right now. Okay. Not necessarily the people that are here, because the people that are here, I've talked to most of you before, but it's the people that aren't here also that I'm worried about too. Okay. You guys have got to start turning stuff in. I'm really, really getting concerned. All right. Everything that you turn in helps. Everything. And if you're having trouble on content assessments, I will help you. You just got to get in touch with me and I will figure out a way to help you. Okay. We will get through all of this, but you have to let me know. I will not let you fail if you try, but you have to try. I'm not going to give you, I'm going to give you nothing for nothing, but I will give you something for something. Does that make sense? Okay. Anyone who's ever worked with me before, ever had me, well, the only person who had me for a teacher before here is Myrna, but so, but if you've ever, anyone who's ever had me for a teacher in the past knows I will not let you fail if you try. Okay. If you try, I will not let you fail, but I will give you nothing for nothing. That is a guarantee. Okay. But you got to try. Fair enough? All right. There's my thumbs up girl right there. All right. All right, guys. So if you all, so no more questions, right? We good? No questions?
Yep.
You have a question, Raj?
No.
Okay, good. All right. All right. So if you all need me, I will have office hours later this afternoon at 1 o'clock. And I am here for you. So just get in touch with me. Otherwise, I will let you all go and you all have a fantastic day. Get caught up on that work and I'll be looking for it to see if I can grade some things this afternoon. All right. Bye, y'all. Have a good one.